Hello everybody, it's Maikito. I hope everybody's having a good day and has had a good day so far. We have a really big slate for Saturday. We didn't have a big slate Friday, but now that it's Saturday, it is a really big slate. So I try to go through every single games. This video took me a while. I've been working on it for a couple hours now. But if you really please could like the video and comment. It's the best way to support the channel. These videos are not easy. It does take a lot of time and a lot of research to go through every single game, go through every single prop, try to find value for you guys, try to find plays that I like. So if you please could like the video and comment and subscribe as well if you're not subscribed. Any pictures that you see on the screen is from the data app called Outlier. You can get a 7-day free trial. Link for that is in the description if you want to try that out. You can filter out through home and away. You can go back to last season, filter with or without players, good matchups, bad matchups, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, link for that is in the description. And as always, if I do have any added plays, they will be in the pinned comment. But other than that, I'll get straight into the plays. The first player prop that I found that I like is that Guirassy to go higher in 3 shots away from home for Dortmund, going up against Heidenheim. He's had 3+ in both games so far in the league and went over in the poke-out game against Essen, which was a good matchup. So in 3 games so far, he's gone over in all 3 games. And last season, he had 3+ shots in 15 out of 29 games, which is a little over 50%. But the reason why I like this line is because of the matchup against Heidenheim. In the first 2 games that Heidenheim played, they lost 1-3 at home to Wolfsburg, gave them 15 shots, and then played away against Leipzig, lost 2-0 and gave them 19 shots. So they're a good matchup for Guirassy. Heidenheim allow a lot of shots. And it showed last season. He had 3+ shots in both games against them last season, which is good for us. And he's a versatile striker. Last season in the league, he took 53 with his right. He took 20 headers and 15 with his left. And Dortmund will be spread thin. They're missing a lot of players due to injury. They signed Fabio Silva. He's going to be out. Brandt, Chan, Sule, Schlotterbeck, all injured, so they're going to be spread thin. And specifically without Brandt last season and 4 games without him in the league, he had 3+ in 2 out of 4 games. But if you look at the 2 games he went under against Bayern, which is a really tough matchup, and Hoffenheim, which was in December, when right in the middle when Dortmund was having that really bad slump. But I don't expect Dortmund to play bad in this game. He played full minutes in those 4 games that he played without Brandt, so I expect him to play pretty good minutes here. Good matchup here. Good history as well, so I like this play. Guirassy to go higher than 3 shots. Then the second player prop that I found that I like is Scott McTominay to go higher than 2 shots away from home for Napoli, going up against Fiorentina. I like the line regardless of who they're playing at 2.0. I like the line. He's gone over this mark, 3+ shots in both games for Napoli so far this season. And coming off the international break with Scotland, he had 2+ in both of those games as well. So he's had 2+ shots in all 4 games so far this season. And he has fulfilled his attacking potential that honestly nobody saw coming since he left Man United last season. And now that Napoli added De Bruyne, he can play even more offensively than he did last season. He could play a little more like how he does with Scotland, where he plays much more offensively, which is what I like as well. Even then, last season he had 2+ shots in both games against Fiorentina last season, which is good for us. He already has good history against them. He averaged 2.33 shots per 90 as well last season. So he averaged a little over 2. And again, now that he can play more offensively, I like this line. He was versatile as well, taking 50 with his right, 17 headers, and 9 with his left. He's like 6'3" or something like that. So he's a big player. He's a long shot taker as well. Last season, 55 from inside the box and 21 from outside the box. And Fiorentina so far this season, in the first 2 games, gave up 14 shots to Cagliari, gave him 45% possession of the ball, and gave 7 shots to Torino, who's not a good offensive team, but also gave him 45% possession. But I like that because if they can give that amount of possession to 2 teams that don't play, now playing Napoli who do play possession and held 60% plus possession in both games so far this season, he will get good opportunities. Besides, last season overall, he had 2+ shots in 70% of games. 23 out of 33 games, he had at least 2 shots. And at 2.0, I like the line, regardless of the opponent. More offensively, good history, I like it. Scott McTominay to go higher than 2 shots. Before I get into the money line plays, as always, like I mentioned before, I really appreciate it if everybody liked the video and commented as well. It's a great way to support the channel, and it boosts the video to the YouTube algorithm. So it just takes a second. So I really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Turn on notifications so you're notified when these videos will go out. We are so close to 7,000. So thank you all for subscribing and watching these videos. It really does mean a lot. And you also get notified in my Discord, which is completely free, linked in the description. That it's not a premium. I do not hide any pics. It is for those that want to get notified when these videos go out, and it's a great community that I have over there where people post their own plays, people talk during the games. You can post your own plays, get input on anything you can bet on. So whether it's soccer, NFL, NBA when that starts up, even esports, stuff like that, people will bet on this. A link for that is in the description. I mentioned I have my link for Outlier as well if you're interested in that as well. So I really want to thank anybody and everybody who supports me in any way. But other than that, I'll get straight into the moneyline plays. We hit day one of the ladder challenge, so we're on to day two. And the first play, I got this from -132 in the Premier League, and that's Aston Villa to score against Everton away from home. I know they're actually yet to score so far this season. If you look at their first 3 games that they played in the league, they had a bad first game against Newcastle, but against Brentford in the following game, they had 76% of the ball, had 17 shots, so they had the opportunities, they just couldn't score. And then in the following game against Palace, they had 58% of the ball. We're expected to score 1.4 goals in that game. So honestly, they have just been unlucky in these last 2 games, but they have plenty of capable players and offensive players like Watkins, Rogers, and Malin. They signed Guirassy, which is a good striker who I believe came from Nice. They picked up Sancho. They picked up Harvey Elliott. So they have a lot of great offensive players that they can pick up. And Everton, on the other hand, have conceded in 2 of 3 games so far. And the only game where they kept a clean sheet, it took a man-of-the-match performance from Pickford, in which he had 4 saves. And the opposition was expected to score 1.54 goals in that game. So Everton are not great defensively. Aston Villa scored in both games against them last season, and at home, Everton conceded in 68% of games last season. 13 out of 19 games. I don't expect them to be able to get held to no goals again. I see them turning it around, at least offensively, this game. So I like this play. Aston Villa to score going up against Everton. And in the second play for the slip, it's Napoli to score at least 1 goal away from home going up against Fiorentina. They have scored in both games so far this season. They picked up De Bruyne. They picked up Luka, the striker. They picked up Elmas. They actually picked up Højlund, and they picked up Lang. So all great offensive players. And they still have Politano and McTominay, who I mentioned can now play up and be more aggressive, which is what I like. And if you look at the Fiorentina games that they've played so far, they conceded to Cagliari, gave them 14 shots and 6 shots on target, and gave Torino 7 shots, 4 shots on target, and it took a 4-save man-of-the-match performance in which Torino were expected to score 1.35 goals from the hat to stop them. But Fiorentina, I do not see them stopping this Napoli side. Besides, even without the offensive players that they picked up last season, they scored in both games against them, actually scoring 2+ goals in both of those games. We just need 1. And overall last season, they scored in 84% of games. 32 out of 38 games they were able to score, and I just don't see Fiorentina stopping Napoli. I trust them here, so I like the line. Napoli to score going up against Fiorentina, and I have this slip for -132 for day 2 of the ladder challenge. I have the second slip, which is in the U.S. League and the MLS. I got this slip from -149, and the first play is Cincinnati to score at home going up against Nashville. This one doesn't really take too much research, I guess you can say. I really like this Cincinnati side. They have scored on average 1.45 goals per game this season, 42 goals in 29 games, and have scored overall in 79% of games, 23 out of 29 games they've been able to score. And Nashville, on the other hand, have conceded on average 1.57 goals on average, conceding 22 and 14 games away from home, and have not kept a clean sheet, which means they've conceded in 12 out of 14 games away from home, all but 2. 86% of games away from home they've conceded. They're not great defensively. They played back in March in Nashville, and Cincinnati still won that game 1-2. And at home, Nashville is much better defensively, in which without counting that game, they had only conceded 9 goals in 14 games at home. So they were conceding less than a goal a game on average, and Cincinnati was able to score 2 there. Now they're at home, where Nashville is weaker defensively. Cincinnati is good offensively, and Cincinnati can attack from anywhere, so I expect them to score. So I like Cincinnati to score going up against Nashville. And the second play is Orlando City plus 0.5 going up against DC United, which just means Orlando City to not lose. DC is the worst team in the Eastern Conference and the third worst team overall. They played Orlando back in March in Orlando, won that game 4-1, which sums up both teams. DC cannot stop teams defensively, and Orlando are just a dangerous team with players like Muriel, Angulo, Ojeda, Pasalic. Orlando is the fourth best team away from home and have not lost in 11 out of 14 games. 79% hit rate so far when they played away from home. They have scored 23 goals and conceded 19. So they play back and forth, but they can't keep up. But playing a team like DC, who struggle on both ends, offensively and defensively, I don't see them beating out this Orlando City side. DC don't play possession. They're weak on through balls. They're weak on counterattacks. And they're not a clinical team, only converting 26% of the shots on target that they've taken. They average less than a goal a game overall, and I just don't see Orlando losing, so I like this play. Orlando City plus 0.5 going up against DC United, and I have this clip for minus 149. Thank you everybody for watching. Quickly going over last video's picks. I mentioned we hit day one of the ladder challenge. Marseille over 1.5 goals going up against Lorient. They came through pretty easily. Hit that by the first half, I believe. They got 3 goals if I'm not mistaken. And then we had both teams to score in the Leverkusen and Frankfurt game. Leverkusen won that game. They were dangerous at home. But I mentioned Frankfurt was in better form. They were able to score. So that play hit. So we hit day 1. We're on to day 2. I mentioned it already when I went to the plays. Player prop wise, I wasn't able to add any plays because I was at work. But with the 2 that were from the YouTube, it was a 1-in-1 day. Jaden Falungen went over this mark. He actually had a hat trick and had like 5 shots, so that hit easily. But Agume got a yellow card like 10 minutes into the game, so he couldn't be as aggressive as he wanted to. As a team, I know Sevilla got at least like 16 tackles. He did not get a single one. And he played the full game, so that yellow card really screwed us over. I don't know why he got that yellow card so early on, but he should have got those tackles. Unfortunately, he played too dangerous at first. I did expect him to play aggressive, but I didn't expect him to get that yellow card that early on, and it screwed us over. But overall, it was a 2-in-1 day. The reads were there. I still like those plays, and I really like these plays here. So if I have any added plays, they will be in the pinned comment. I delayed it tonight. I will try to have them tomorrow when lineups are out, but I work tomorrow as well. So I'll try to add some. If I do find any that I like, I will keep an eye out for them. But again, I don't guarantee that I will have any added plays. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.